Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are currently pretty dug in here, and we're just kind of awaiting the research of our tanks here, which is getting very close. 86 days, and then I believe we'll be able to start the research on the modern tank chassis. So that looks good. We're not going to research anything else here for now. We'll probably think about maybe getting some extra anti-tank. Let's see, this is for armored car. Support anti-tank. Just general heart attack? No, that's for the anti-tank. And tank destroyers. And motorized anti-tank. So I don't know that we care too much about going down over here for now. We could start thinking about naval or air. I'd be more likely to think about air right now than naval. I think for the moment that's fine. We can also start to grab improved radio and upgrade these over here. Not too interested in this right now, although eventually it will probably become useful. And working our way down this way, but we haven't completed the special project of radar yet, so that's definitely a concern. Speaking of which, I'm thinking we should maybe consider moving up our special facilities. Where are they in here? They're in here somewhere. Here we go. So there's 4 of them. So if we were to move these up like this, I would probably still intersperse something like this. How long is it going to take to build these? Is my question right now. So, I mean, this isn't really going to change too much here in terms of the order, but yeah, I mean, 27 December, that's not too bad. That's 7 December, 7 December. So pretty much all of this will be done in December. I think that's cool. So let's proceed forward here. And for the time being, we're still working on digging in out over here. I want to see what the status of that is. 7 of 7, 7 of 8, 7 of 7, 5 of 2. Or 5 of 7, rather. So is that this one? Yeah, that's actively being worked on. And we've got some backline being built as well. That looks good for now. It's going to be a tough nut for them to crack over this way, but they'll try, I'm sure. So for now, that seems okay. There's the modern engine being researched, and now we can start choosing to work on something else. I kind of want to start working on air power. And specifically, I think we want to go for small airframes. Small airframes are more of the, this is more of the, like, interceptor size. So I want to go that direction. There's also some weaponry and engines out over here. Let's grab the basic small airframe for now. And let's see, agility but reducing range. That's probably okay. Ground attack I don't care about right now. Agility, max speed, and air attack. That we'll go for. Okay, so that seems fine. So the idea there is we just want to be able to contest the airspace right now. Eventually we'll get to the point where we want to be able to wrest the airspace away and use our own close air supports. And potentially do like logistics bombing, but I'm not too concerned about that right now. We'll get there. So for now, that seems okay. We're quite well defended out over this direction, and I think this is fine. I do see some tanks moving in over here. We'll see if they attempt to attack us over here, but this is definitely going to be a tough nut for them to crack over this way. That's going to be very, very challenging for them. Now, our war support is currently 71, and we need that to remain above 68 as we work on industrialization schemes here. So that's absolutely noted. We have unassigned divisions up over here. This is Infantry 1946B. This is not one of our templates, that's for sure. Let's just toss it into the Coast Guard. Should be fine. So the Coast Guard is getting there in terms of being able to defend our coastline. And we're pretty well set up over here. I'm not intending, for the record, to strike out and do a push from here. At least not right now. We might do that later, but I'm intending... I don't know. I was intending for that push to come from here and sweep down, turning this into a unified front and pushing this way. But now that this is a thing, that might change some things there. So that's definitely noted. Also noted, the fact that our manpower dropped significantly. This is because these 8 divisions just finished up. So we've got this army out over here. And we could definitely toss 2 of these divisions out here. So I'm going to grab 2 of these. And I'd like to assign these here, like that. And hopefully they spread out evenly here, 4 and 4. Up over this way, I feel like we're good up here. Let's see, that's an 18 of 24. We could put in 6 more here. So I'd do like 1 here, maybe even a second here. Kermanshah is going to potentially be a bit of a problem. We may want to think about putting in a supply hub here. There's one here, yes, but we may want to think about putting a second one in here. And then building rail like this. And then also putting in some rail that comes in kind of like that. Yeah, let's think about that. And then we can put in 4 additional, which this is 4. And then they would probably end up going here. Like that. Okay. So something along those lines. We'll get a bunch of that construction underway. So that brings all of these armies up to 24. Now, this army is not considered to be particularly powerful compared to the opposition. These really should be organized into army groups at this point, but they're not intended to push out against this for right now. They're just intended to hold this line. So there's passive defense for our spy agency finishing, and we'll continue to work on that for right now. Cool. How's the status of our tanks going? Not bad is the answer. Okay, so that looks fine. Our current number of taxable civilian factories is 6. We may want to go through these. So, Khalistan. This is going to be in West Punjab, which is actually... We're in spy network mode. Let's go to default map mode. West Punjab is out over here. That's actually acceptable. So, we'll do that. Next up is Balochistan. So, Balochistan is out over here. And that is going to end up going into Kalat. This would be a reroll. Let's bypass that for now. Then we've got Pakistan, which is going to be in South Balochistan. Okay, that's actually viable. We'll do that. And then Northwestern Frontier Provinces, this is going to go to Waziristan, which is right over here. That's fine. This is actually the last location here, and unless these guys have any claims over here in any of these adjacent provinces, that would be them completed. Yeah, that's them completed. So let's mark off the Northwestern Frontier Provinces, and there we go. Next up would be Kashmir, which is going to go directly into Kashmir. This would be a reroll. So let's leave that be for now. We're down to 3 taxable civilian factories, so that looks okay for the moment. Excellent. Okay, so this is all making some amount of progress here. That looks good. And these constructions are going to continue for a little while, that's for sure. But things are looking great. I'm actually very pleased with this so far. We've done far better than I expected. I do want to move up some of these coastal forts, though. I want to be prioritizing these a little bit higher than this. So we definitely want to work through a bunch of these coastal forts, but not all of them yet. There's quite a large number of them, and then there's all of these land forts. These are all very low priority. I'm not concerned about those right now. We're going to put things at a higher priority than those. That's going to be things like airfields and anti-air. Things like that. Speaking of anti-air. Okay, this is fine. I'm not terribly concerned about that. We see Japan is getting close to our front up here. They're going to have a very, very hard time pushing into Kurdistan here. So that's going to be very rough for them. That said, if they actually attack Kurdistan, this is going to lengthen our front here quite considerably. So I'm glad that we have some additional troops up here, even if we end up having some supply issues up here, which may end up being a thing. And to be honest, I'm thinking about purchasing this province, and maybe this one as well. Not for any resource reasons. I don't want to open up a front up here, so that's fine for now. Then we can get this one as well. And like I said, I don't want any resources. I don't want to open a front up here. The goal behind this is to make this corridor be a little bit less narrow, so it is a little bit harder to bomb our supply route. So what I want to do here is I want to have... What did I just queue there? Oh, I'm in supply hub mode. I want to be in railroad mode. And we're going to bring a rail line up over here, and then that's going to come down like this. And then I also want to bring a rail line down here and have that connect in over here, like so. And then upgrade this rail line. So that way we just have multiple redundant rail lines over here. And I also want to put a supply hub up here preemptively. And I want to line this just in case the Republic of Iran falls. So the question is, do we want to do all of this immediately like this? Well, I definitely want to keep working on these, but I think the rest of it is fine. Should build fairly quickly. Oh, and we also want to queue up the land forts here, but this is not going to go to the top of the queue. This is going to go to the bottom of the queue, down here. That's low priority. So we'll get that done in the eventual times. I'm surprised that the Iraqi Republic hasn't fallen yet. I'm actually very surprised about that. I'm sure they will soon. And then we'll start bearing the full brunt of Turkey and Japan over on this front, which should be reasonably fine. Now, we're at 70 war support right now. That seems okay. How are we doing on our industrialization scheme? 62 out of 70. Oh, wait, we don't need to be at 68 for this one. It was actually for the one that was before this. Yeah, that's what it was. So Smiling Buddha would give us nuclear research. That is definitely a civilization reference. Okay. Sure. So the Indian Army Corps of Engineers would do all of that. That's not all that relevant, in my opinion. Women's Auxiliary Air Force. Air accidents chance reduction. That's interesting. We might want to consider going down this route since we are planning on going for air after we get our tanks online. That's probably not a terrible idea. Okay, so for now, that seems good. We are absolutely going to finish up industrialization schemes, which will boost our recruitable population factor by 3%. That's going to be a very big deal for us, of course. And every time our recruitable population factor goes up, every 9 months right now, we're going to have a very, very significant amount of manpower that comes in. Now, we just finished up something, and what was that we finished? I clicked on it intending to do something, but I've forgotten what it was. Nothing popped up here. Okay, it can't have been that important, right? So there's industrialization schemes done now, and I do think that we should grab this. This is going to start generating us some air experience, so we'll definitely do that. So that looks good. We should have enough army experience to make our tanks, and that will be very, very good for us, of course. So I'm definitely thinking we want to push up to this line as like our first offensive. But then we might want to think about... Is there a crossing down over here? No. Okay. We might want to think about an offensive down this way that essentially thrusts down to here. And then we sweep out this down here, and then we can start pushing northward while these guys push out to... Are we at war with Mongolia? I don't think so. I know that the star changes color, but I have a hard time seeing that due to my colorblindness. But no, we are not at war with Mongolia. So that's a good thing for us then. That means that we can push out to here and set up 2 lines. One defensive line on this side, and one offensive line on this side, and then look to push these together once this is conquered, and then turn this into a single unified front, come up, join up with this, and then push up to, like, here, right? If we do that, we'll be unstoppable at that point. Cool. That sounds like a plan. So, or at least part of a plan. I don't know if that's a full plan, but well, we can actually get the modern tank chassis. This is an or? I didn't realize this was an or. I thought this was an and. Okay, let's definitely get the modern tank chassis going then. So this is a 10% research bonus, but this will give additional armor. I want the additional armor. I don't actually care about reduced speed. So that sounds good. I like how I said that the idea is kind of blitzkrieg, and then said I don't care about speed, but here we are. So modern armor protection has finished up. That, of course, is now going to start getting devoted over this way. So I want to start working on some of this weaponry here. So these are machine guns. Okay, we can definitely work on machine guns. We can work on these engines. That'll be fine. So these are heavy MGs, and then these are the cannons. Yeah, so self-sealing fuel tanks are definitely a good thing too. Let's start working on that. So what do we got here? Research bonus, 5%, 10%? Done. Okay, so that's all underway. That seems good. And this attack out over here, they keep launching these little probing attacks, and it keeps not really doing much. So we definitely need to take over China if we want to have like a stranglehold over the global manpower situation. And that's the overall concept there. I was planning on buying China, but alas, here we are. So we're going to run out of the fiscal year here in 50 days. That's understood. We've not been devoted too much to building factories, and it's showing right now. There's no doubt about it. That said, we're going to be finishing up a lot of this soon. I want to intersperse some of these railways in here because I do want to be working on some of these railways, especially now that we've got some of these land forts built. So we've got some unassigned divisions down over here. These are infantry divisions, not from us. These are very mediocre infantry divisions. We're going to toss those into our Coast Guard. Lend-Lease from Pakistan, they want to send us convoys? Sure. We'll take some convoys. That sounds great. So at this point, we've definitely widened this corridor, which I think is a very, very useful thing for us to do. We've got solid defenses up over here. I don't think they're going to have much luck pushing in here anytime soon. And we definitely need to get those tanks online because we can't just sit here forever, right? And yes, we're overbuilding armored trains. That's understood. We can't just sit here forever. We've got a lot of things that we need to work on. Now, right now we're grabbing Indian Air Force. That will be done eventually. Wow, that was quite a noise. Ah, because we have an available special project and a facility with an unassigned scientist. So this is our naval engineering facility. This is our land warfare facility. We'll need to recruit a scientist. Ah, these cost political power. Okay, we'll have to wait on that then. We do have some available special projects here. I'd like to do radar, but we need a scientist to start that. This is the aerodynamics and avionics facility. Okay, sure, that's this down here. So what projects are available here? Flame tanks, military engineering vehicles, super heavy howitzers, stronghold networks. Interesting. We might grab that, but that's going to take 540 days to research. Okay, so there's the advanced heavy tank chassis. We're basically done with our tank research that we're going to do for now. So that looks good. And what we're interested in doing now, of course, is continuing to work over here. And I'm going to start grabbing some of these engines for our aircraft. So these are just research bonuses. Yeah. Okay, that seems fine. So surprisingly, we've still got some manpower here. That is quite surprising. If we check in on our agrarian society here, we can see our recruitable population factor is minus 48%. So that's very significant, right? No doubt about that. How much are we growing by here? 2.48k monthly. Okay. That's not terrible. Keep in mind, we are still on volunteer only. And we still have crazy amounts of manpower. So that's absolutely great. We're very delighted by that. And these trades that we're taking here should be very, very efficient. Like, if we look at the actual status of the war here, let's look at this. So we can see this is technically the British Civil War that we're in. Okay, that's a little awkward. Hang on, are we in this? These are our allies here. Okay, here we are. Yeah. So at this point, we can see that our casualties have been 117k. I wish we could see how many casualties we've inflicted. Land combat damage, 7413. So if we check into one of the big boys here, right? Like, for example, the Communist States of America. How much land combat damage have they inflicted? A lot more, for sure. But my question now is, this is how many casualties they've taken. But if we look at Japan specifically here, and we look at their casualties, we're in the other category. Okay, that's not very helpful. I was hoping to be able to see how efficient we've been with the losses here. But unfortunately, we're not really able to see that right now. So that's understood. There's the Indian Air Force done. So that is great. Next up, we can go for, like, trainer planes. That'll start boosting our air experience further, which is going to be a good thing, for sure. Getting more air experience is, of course, great. So we've got 29 days till the end of the fiscal year. At this point, we don't really have any factories being built, although we're not far away from building a lot of these factories. Let's continue to work as we are for right now. We're going to finish up our nuclear research facility here very soon, just a few days. And we're going to finish the supply hub up over here. Where is it? Up over here very soon as well. So that looks good for now. We do have this unassigned division, and this is not a terrible division, but we're going to toss it into the Coast Guard. It's not one of our divisions. So that seems good for now. We need 50 political power to bring in a scientist, and we should probably prioritize doing that pretty soon. We should also probably cut back on our truck production and our artillery production. We're going to need to start producing tanks very, very shortly. How close are we to that? Well, we're 144 days away from it. So that's definitely noted. Okay, so I want to check in over on this battle over here. So if we look at this battle, we can see that... Does this show casualties here? I don't know if it does in this battle. We're currently winning, but no, it doesn't show casualties. That's unfortunate. I would like to be able to see the actual casualties there. Or maybe I missed it. That's a possibility. So this is another infantry division, and this is from one of our vassals. We're going to toss that into the Coast Guard as well. The Coast Guard is now at 48 out of 72, so that's looking okay. No major issues there. So everything is looking pretty okay right now. We need to get political power, but our political power is primarily going into our research and into this right now. So we're only gaining like half a point per day. We'd really like to get some scientists recruited. Political power is absolutely at a premium for us. There's no doubt about that. So this is looking reasonably good, right? Is there something that I missed in here that shows like casualties? I'd like to see the exact number of them. I don't think there is anything I missed. That's very sad. Regardless, we should be trading extraordinarily efficiently right now. So that looks good. And for the time being, we're going to want these lines as our strong point, right? So I'm kind of thinking maybe we should research that fort network. and then start going into more aggressive things after that. But we could also just say, you know, we're doing very, very well defending these lines as it is. And we are. I think we're inflicting crazy casualties on this guy. Do we know what Japan has for manpower right now? If we go into their intel, we can see they've got 25 to 45k manpower. That's so little manpower. I think they're stretched pretty thin, actually. Which would make sense. The Great Iranian Empire just declared war on the Iraqi Republic. Okay. So that's kind of irrelevant to us. Maybe a good thing, actually. We do have an unassigned division here. In fact, we have 4. And these are our divisions, so that looks fine. We're going to put these guys, honestly, into the Coast Guard. We still need more forces on our coastline. So for now, that looks good. And of course, our manpower all vanishes, which is fully expected there. So that's fine. What is our current agrarian society factor? Okay, so it's still at 48. So we have not had that tick yet. There's fuel refining 5 coming through. That seems fine. I'm not too concerned about synthetic oil right now. Let's hop into air here. We could do range improvements. Yeah, let's get started on that. I'm not terribly thinking that we're going to want to have that, most likely. But let's at least get it researched. At least not initially. It's definitely a very good thing for bombers. We might want to have it on some of our fighters as well, but for now what I'm most interested in is contesting the airspace, right? We've got the static anti-air defenses, but those don't do a ton. We're shooting down some of their planes, but it's not many, right? So that's absolutely a concern. For now, things are ticking along very nicely, and it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we are going to continue our research here. We're going to get the modern tank chassis, and we're going to start making our tank divisions, but that's going to take a little bit more time. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.